So we know that after Avengers Infinity War and the untitled Avengers 4 movie, the roster of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to look a lot different. Some of the characters might die, some of the actors' contracts are going to be up. So I wanted to do a predictions and theories video just to talk about some of the changes that might take place. I know there was some rumors that Spider-Man was going to probably die. That's absolutely not true. The Spider-Man Homecoming sequel is the first movie in Phase 4, so Spider-Man is definitely safe. Now, the first candidate to get killed off, to me, is Hawkeye. I mean, he barely made it out of Age of Ultron alive. Hawkeye really just isn't too connected to any of the other storylines in the MCU. He just kind of pops up here and there, so if he dies, I can kind of see that happening. Black Widow is another one that I can see possibly dying. She was also ready to die at the end of Age of Ultron. I really like the Black Widow character. I think she gets better each time she's on the screen, but I'm not sure of Scarlett Johansson's contract situation, so if she's up on her contract, I can see them possibly killing her off. Pepper Potts and Jane Foster are two other characters that I think they should kill off, and I actually hope they do. Gwyneth Paltrow and Natalie Portman seem to not want to do these Marvel movies anymore, which is why I was also surprised Pepper showed up at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming. With all the destruction that Thanos is going to bring, you can easily just say that they died somewhere. You don't have to show them on camera. And that actually would give us some great emotional moments for Iron Man and Thor. And I think one of the members of the Guardians of the Galaxy is going to die. If I had to make a prediction, I would say either Mantis or Nebula, probably more so Nebula. Nebula hates Thanos just as much as Gamora does, but let's face it, Gamora is way more important to the Guardians than Nebula is. Kevin Feige has said that Phase 4 is going to shift more to the cosmic side of the MCU. So I'm sure most of the Guardians are safe. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is the second movie in Marvel Phase 4. Captain Marvel is probably safe. Even though I'm predicting she's not going to be in Infinity War, she has her own solo movie after that movie, and she'll probably be in Avengers 4. Doctor Strange is definitely going to be safe. They said Doctor Strange and Spider-Man form a close bond in Avengers Infinity War, so I'm sure they're going to want to expand on that later on. Black Panther is more than likely going to be safe, as well as Ant-Man and the Wasp. Vision and Scarlet Witch, I'm not so sure about. First, I want to know how Vision's going to survive once he gets that Infinity Stone ripped off his head. And Scarlet Witch's powers are mostly a cosmic thing. So if I had to make a prediction, I would say that both of those two survive. Now we're getting around to the big four, and this is where it gets a little tricky. Let's start with the Hulk. Now, in my opinion, killing the Hulk is just unrealistic. I honestly just can't see them possibly trying to kill the Hulk. How can you? I do predict at some point that he's going to be able to control his transformations in between Banner and the Hulk at will. I'm also not sure if Mark Ruffalo's contract is up. And that brings me to Captain America. Now, Chris Evans' contract was definitely up a couple movies ago. He signed back on because he said the last two Avengers movies are going to wrap everything up. He's also said that he'd be willing to renegotiate his contract with Marvel because he actually does like playing Cap. If they do decide to kill Captain America off, or just make him not available for the foreseeable future, there are some options. The Winter Soldier could pick up the shield like he did in the comics, or Falcon could be the new Captain America like he has been in the recent comics. So I think Winter Soldier and Falcon are safe. Captain America, not so much. Now with Thor, it's not so simple. If Chris Hemsworth doesn't renegotiate his contract, they could decide to kill Thor off. The problem there is that Asgard is still going to exist in the MCU. And now that I'm saying that, it actually might not exist after Thor Ragnarok. So we have to wait and see after that movie. Thor is basically the liaison between Earth and Asgard. So if you get rid of him, then you don't have much Asgard in the MCU. Now they could replace him with the female Thor like in the comics, but we haven't seen Jane Foster since Thor the Dark World. Since they're going the cosmic route, and if they plan on Thor not being around, I think you can replace him with Beta Ray Bill. Beta Ray Bill would fit right in with the rest of the cosmic characters. And lastly, the biggest character of them all, Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr.'s contract is definitely up. He's renegotiated a couple times, but he's even talked about retiring from the character recently. Not to mention that the salary that he gets for these movies is going to become way too expensive for Marvel to pay. So if they decide to kill off Iron Man, you're going to have Stark Industries with no Tony Stark. You're going to have no Iron Man, even though Rhodey could probably play Iron Man, but I forgot to mention, I think Rhodey is going to die in these movies too. You could replace him with the current character in the comics, Riri Williams. In the comics, Riri Williams gets a scholarship to MIT. You can tie that right into the September Foundation that Tony gave away at the beginning of Civil War. Or maybe you can have a scenario where Peter Parker introduces Riri to Pepper Potts and Happy Hogan. It would be cool to have Robert Downey Jr. come back as the Jarvis voice in Riri's Ironheart suit. So I think I've covered everybody. You know what? I actually forgot Nick Fury and Maria Hill. I totally forgot they were around, so I'm just going to say Nick Fury lives, Maria Hill dies. Now, it's one important thing to remember. Even if these actors aren't playing these characters, sometime down the line, these characters are going to come back. They're going to have to recast, but that's why I predict that none of the main Avengers are actually going to die. I'm predicting that they're going to be stuck in some alternate dimension that not even Doctor Strange can find. That's a safe and easy way of letting the actors move on, but still keeping those characters around just in case they need them in the future. Ultimately, I hope they do re-sign and show up later down the line. I would hate to see these characters be recast. But those are my predictions and theories. Drop down in the comment section and let me know what you think. I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you agree with, what you disagree with. What are some of your predictions and theories? If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. I truly appreciate everyone that's watched and everyone that's subscribed. Got a couple more videos on the screen to check out if you haven't seen those yet, and I'll catch you on the next one.